morning, I'm Amar Singh Pradhan. Let's begin with the top stories this hour. The internal conflict within the ruling Nepal Communist Party and the main opposition Nepali Congress drives both the parties away from their responsibility towards the nation. Hotels in the country start to fill up as tourist flow increases. More than 1.2 million tourists estimated to arrive in Nepal this year. Chinese President Xi Jinping officially opens the world's longest sea-crossing bridge 9 years after construction had begun. The bridge seen as symbolic due to its low return on investment. And Juventus brush aside Manchester United 1-0 at the UEFA Champions League. Real Madrid finally back to winning ways while Manchester City crushed Shakhtar Donetsk. This year's Dasai, the biggest festival of the nation, officially comes to a conclusion today as devotees are celebrating Kozagrat Purnima or the full moon day today. There is an age-old practice of offering special prayers to goddess Mahalakshmi, considered as deity of prosperity on this day today. Likewise, devotees worship goddess Mahalakshmi by remaining awake for the whole night tonight. Let's move on to national political updates. The internal conflict within ruling Nepal Communist Party and the main opposition Nepali Congress has driven both the parties away from their responsibility towards the nation. The ruling Nepal Communist Party has been charged of shying away from its duty to drive the nation to prosperity through development efforts, while Nepali Congress has been engaged in its own internal disputes, preventing the party from checking the government's weaknesses or question its performance. The ruling Nepal Communist Party has been engaged more in the lack of internal management than in national issues. Following the party unification between the then CPNUML and CPN Mao Center on the 17th of May earlier this year, the Nepal Communist Party was expected to conclude the unification process at all levels at the earliest. However, despite the lapse of 5 months, the disputes over the leadership at the lower level have continued to flare up along with the growing dispute amid the top leaders. The state of the main opposition Nepali Congress is no different, as instead of monitoring the government's performance and raising issues of the general public, the leaders of Nepali Congress have been busy forming groups aiming for the party's General Assembly, which is still 2 years away. Despite widespread criticism, the repeated use of the Prime Minister's office for party meetings and book launches of leaders and cadres, among others, has made a mockery of the institution, leading to questions on the government's responsibility of delivering good governance. While the office of the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers both have directed all the government officials to take oath to never indulge in or encourage corruption to ensure good governance, the Prime Minister's residence at Balwa Tower has been repeatedly used by the Premier for party meetings, the recent one being held this week on Monday. Experts have taken it as a violation of state properties. However, Prime Minister K.P. Sharma Oli is not the first Prime Minister to host such party meetings and book launches. Previous Prime Ministers have also hosted such personal and party programs on a regular basis. There is now a general outcry among the public that unless the trend is stopped, it will hurt the reputation of the governing system. And we'll take a short break here. We have more news coming up. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Most tourist hotels in the country are starting to fill up as the peak tourist season begins. 85% of the hotel rooms have already been booked for the months of October and November. It is estimated that 1.2 million tourists would be visiting Nepal this year. The hotels in Tamil, the main tourist hub of Kathmandu, have full occupancy these days. Hoteliers seem very excited with the increasing number of tourists during the start of the peak tourist season. In the past 9 months, 773,000 tourists have already visited Nepal. This number is 20% higher compared to last year at the same time. The number of tourists coming from European countries, United States, Japan, China, Singapore, Malaysia, among others, have increased this year. In comparison to last year, the booking of hotel rooms has increased substantially this year. According to Hotel Association of Nepal, 85% of the hotel rooms have already been booked this year, whereas only 70% were booked at this time last year. Hoteliers opine that the occupancy could be 100% if the roads of the Kathmandu Valley, Saura and Pokhara would improve. It is imperative on the part of the government to focus on infrastructure development to encourage tourism. And we have more news coming up, but right now it's time for yet another short break. The Bardganga municipality of Kapilvastu district has locally started a campaign to clean their city themselves. In this context, we asked the participants of this campaign what is their objective behind the campaign. Let's take a look at what they have to say.
Public voice.
म सफा गर्छु मेरो नगर भन्ने अभियानलाई सार्थक रूप दिन आज अभियानको रूपमा हामीले सडक किनारका सम्पूर्ण फोहोरहरू हटाएर आज हामी सरसफाई अभियान सुरु गर्दै छौं र यसलाई निरन्तर रूपमा हामी चलाइराख्ने छौं।
आफ्नो सफाई आफ्नो वातावरणको संरक्षण हामी आफै गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने कुरालाई हामीहरूले जोड दिएर अगाडि बढेका छौं।
विभिन्न 49 टोल विकास संस्थाहरू छन्। ती टोल विकास संस्थाहरूले नेतृत्व गरेर सबै टोलमा लैजाने हाम्रो कार्यक्रम छ। आज यहाँबाट चाहिँ हामी शुभारम्भ गरेका छौं कोठी नदीबाट।
बजार क्षेत्रमा मात्रै नभएर गाउँ टोलमा हामीले आफ्नो घरको सफाई आफै नै गर्ने भन्ने उद्देश्यका साथ हामी कार्यक्रमहरू चलिरहेको छ।
कोठी खोला सारै फोहोर भएको कारणले हामीले सरसफाई कार्यक्रम सुरु गरे हौं।
सरसफाई गर्ने अनि आफ्नो जीवन स्वस्थ हुन्छ, गाउँ नगर सफा राख्न सकिन्छ।
दुवैतिरका रुखहरू झाडीहरू सरसफाई गरेर स्वच्छ बनाऊ, सफा रहौं भनेर हामी अगाडि बढेका छौं।
And it's now time for our segment Public Pulse, where it texts us with their opinion.
Public Pulse.
And the question is, what should be done to extend the stay of tourists? Your options are A, improve infrastructure, B, develop new destinations, and C, improve service quality. The voting for the question is on. Type any W, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And time for sports update.
Sports news.
And back home, the preparations for the Pokhara Premier League, the first of its kind to be held in Pokhara, is in its final stage. A temporary parapet with a capacity to accommodate around 4,000 spectators has been built for the T20 Championship beginning this Friday. The pitch for the tournament has also been completed and players will practice 2 days ahead of the tournament to test the condition of the pitch. Nepalese and Indian curators have worked hard to prepare the pitch. Matches will be played on a different pitch every day. The tournament will be held from 26th of October to 6th of November. The Dhangadi Blues have announced their squad, including 2 players from England. The team is scheduled to reach Pokhara today. Meanwhile, Chitwan Tigers have already reached Pokhara for the tournament. And here's a look at the top stories one more time. The internal conflict within the ruling Nepal Communist Party and the main opposition Nepali Congress drives both the parties away from their responsibility towards the nation. Hotels in the country start to fill up as tourist flow increases. Over 1.2 million tourists estimated to arrive in Nepal this year. Chinese President Xi Jinping officially opens the world's longest sea-crossing bridge 9 years after construction began. The bridge seen as symbolic due to its low return on investment. And Juventus brushed aside Manchester United 1-0 at the UEFA Champions League. Real Madrid finally back to winning ways while Manchester City crossed Shakhtar Donetsk. And those were our latest headlines. Stay with us for more news and entertainment on KTVSD. Good day.